Hey everyone, it's Bryce Root. Welcome to the show. In today's episode, we talk with Tom Bruce, the authority on all things food service here in Northern California. So if you're in the food business, stay tuned. Let's go. Hey Tom, it's great to see you. Get ready, we're going to get ready to start recording in just... Hey everyone, welcome to the show. In today's episode, as I mentioned, Tom Bruce, he's the founder and president of Central Coast Food and Beverage, is with us to really give us some essential tips for all of you food business related companies and small businesses that are out there, ranging from a quick serve to full serve, food cart, food truck. We're going to cover it all and give you some resources and some great tips for you. So Tom, welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming on camera with us.
Well, thanks, Bryce. Pleasure to be here. And for those of you in the restaurant community, we're here to help at the SBDC. My background has been in the industry for, my entire lifetime, my adult lifetime, which has only been a few years, as you can tell by my physical appearance. Working through the industry and then the consulting company and now working with the SBDCs. I think I'd have the same advice for you as operators, regardless of the type of food service that you're in. We're really, as an industry right now, reduced to food delivery and food pickup or takeout. Which for many of you is, if you're a full service dinner house, kind of a high-end operation, that's really not an option for you, or in most cases, not an option for you.
Yeah, I'm actually, Tom, I'm seeing even reports from San Francisco that Michelin star chef restaurants, they're doing curbside pickup and. Right.
I have a couple of higher end restaurant clients here in Santa Cruz, and they just closed completely, for those reasons. But yes, the curbside pickup is always an option, and you're going to have to obviously go down to minimal staffing and try and keep yourself afloat. Let's talk about some of the basics. I'm sure you've already thought about these at this point. But the three main expenses that any restaurant operator has is occupation cost, labor, and cost of goods. Mm-hmm. So in occupation cost, and there's actually some relief now, some formal rent relief. But, meet with your landlord. Everybody's in this together. And explain your situation, work out some deferred or forgiven rent, and in 2 or 3 months, and hopefully we're not all stuck that long, but then you can start generating revenue and paying the landlord back. The landlord, and not to make this sound like you're muscling the landlord, but they don't have a lot of other options. They're not going to evict you. They can't evict you at this point. Mm-hmm. But it should be a friendly encounter, not a negative encounter, because we will come out the other side of it. Same thing with vendors. You undoubtedly, if you're using vendors and not doing the Costco routine, you owe them money. Everybody owes them money, and they're all stuck without a revenue stream, or greatly reduced revenue stream. Most of the people that service restaurants do not service grocery stores, and all of the restaurant dollars have moved to retail sales, or much of them. So negotiate with them. If you're still using vendors, work on COD and have them carry that balance and try and get that balance carried interest-free. The employees are kind of the tough part of this. Because many of us have long-term relationships with our people. Fortunately, there are a number of programs out there, and the SBDC can help you with those. There's the EIDL loan, which is the disaster relief loan. And there's a component of that that gets you a $10,000 advance pretty quickly. We have a number of people who have submitted for those. No one has actually received the advance, but it's only been a few days in most cases.
Yeah.
There's the PPP program, which is payroll protection. Enrollment starts on that on April 3rd at the earliest. Lots and lots of issues with that program. It's really not well defined yet, and I'm not sure it's going to be it's going to launch successfully, but it will eventually launch. So if not Friday, it'll launch next week.
Okay, good.
Yeah, and then there's the enhanced unemployment benefits, and I'm not really up to speed on those, but it's extended benefits and an increase in benefits. What we have to really kind of keep in mind, Bryce, is that at some point you go from kind of staying afloat to potentially running out of funds, and the problem that causes is coming out the other side and getting involved in recovery. So if you don't have the funds for recovery, you basically have just tried to keep your business going too long, and it's not you're not able to kind of rebirth it and get it out there again. And it's going to be slow when it comes back, or at least that's my feeling. But let's hope I'm wrong there.
Yeah, I saw that Starling stat recently. I think one of the Bay Area's publications put it out that they're predicting that statewide 30,000 restaurants will close because of this. So it's a scary thought to even conceive that. But I think what you're getting at here is just from a planning standpoint, you need to really work on your projections and look at your financials really closely.
Right. And what we're suggesting to our clients is that you really kind of drill that down to a daily, some daily oversight. What did I spend on goods for today? If you're COD, that's pretty easy to figure out.
Yeah.
What have I spent on labor? And does that leave anything to kind of keep the business afloat? If you're at a negative, and many days you may be at a negative, decide on a cutoff point for that. But personally, I would not let that go on for more than 2 weeks before I strongly considered what I would refer to as a temporary closure. You hate to do it to your people. You hate to do it to that clientele that still comes by and picks up a sandwich or dinner for four, or whatever it might be. But if you can't come back when this is all done, it's a bigger disservice. So that's the tough part. When do I? I'm not saying throw in the towel, but when do I step back and say, I'm going to close the doors and work on preparing myself to come back in 60 days or whatever it might be.
Yeah, and maybe there's some, from a marketing standpoint, there's a lot that you can do that I think video, social media, just marketing in general, there's a kind of a whole new avenue, and I'll cover some of those details in a video coming up, but there's some aspects of marketing that you can help drive maybe some of that. But at a certain point, you do have to look at those financials and proactively be strategic about staying open for the long haul.
Absolutely. And to speak to your marketing comment there, we recently did a training program for a client over in the San Joaquin Valley, an Italian concept, and it included a lot of recipes on video. So what they have been doing, the actual procedures for the recipes, is they're printing the recipes, putting a recipe a day up on the website. When they did the pizza recipes, they had a video of one of their people, rolling out the dough. They're selling gift cards and taking the proceeds from that, giving it to their staff, which they've had to lay off. So yeah, there are ways to make something a bit positive out of it. And I don't think those things are terribly expensive.
No, no. Most of the marketing that you could be doing right now is actually free. It's just
Right,
the
right.
investment of time to create it, to show it, to videotape it.
Yeah, yeah.
In
And do you
some
know
cases,
anyone who does those sorts of things, Bryce?
actually, on my side of things, I have a lot of videos that kind of speak to best practices and things like that. So
Right.
that's actually a bit of what I do is kind of coaching and consulting um, on having an action plan for not only the current situation, but also what you need to be doing and planning wise for after all this.
Right,
So really
right.
speaking to the current date and then looking forward, because all the consumers' habits are changing by the day. And so on the other side of this, if you're not figuring out a way to really optimize curbside pickup and delivery and to go and all that, you don't have all the logistics in place, all your competition very well probably already figured that out and have a well-oiled machine. So you do have to figure some of that out. And that's what I help a lot of clients with, is really planning for that.
Right. And again, to speak to that, you may find that you have a very different concept when, when recovery comes around. I'm a firm believer that you're going to have a different way of doing business inside the four walls, because
For sure.
as we gain a little bit more confidence in going back out in public and maybe being closer than 28 feet from the next person, we will want to have the restaurant experience. It's a big part of people's lives.
Mhm.
But that dining room that used to seat 120, you're going to have to be prepared to make a living on 60 people in those seats instead of 90.
Yeah.
So that may mean that you have to, reduce your concept and make it less expensive or
Mhm.
healthier or whatever. It's not going to be business as usual, definitely.
No, it won't. There's opportunity that's coming out of this, and someone like a coffee shop that has a roasting program, their mail delivery service, mail order, mail subscription might be a whole nother revenue avenue that they never really realized.
Yeah.
That could be really big for them.
Yeah, my daughter lives in Manhattan, and the favorite wine shop has a curtain with a hole in it, and they put the wine out, and you give them your credit cards. Real
Yeah.
different ways of doing business.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Well, Tom, are there any resources or additional tips you want to share that the food people out there in the food business can maybe go to or read through, or anything?
if they'd like to contact us through the SBDC or just send us a quick email, we have put together a resource page. It's at the SBDC, but we're happy to send it out to people. And it's a couple websites about energy conservation, stuff like that. Again, the big expenses, the things that you're going to have to negotiate on, I don't think there's a whole lot of training available on that. What I would say is be honest, be sincere, and
Mhm.
don't get yourself into a situation that when you come out, you cannot manage. You can't say defer my rent for 3 months and then I'll pay you 4 months when I come out. It's not going to work that way.
Yeah.
So you need a reduced rent, you need partial payments on top of the regular rent, and maybe you need that rent reduced for the next 12 months. It's keep it fluid.
Exactly. So Tom, thank you for being on the show. And for those people out there that are watching this, what's the best way for them to find you?
Well, we have a website at Central Coast Food and Beverage. That's our company website. And then we work with the Santa Cruz SBDC, and they can go online and register for help there. That's free. And also through UC Merced, which covers Monterey. So if you're in the Monterey area, you can go in through there and
Okay, excellent.
request services there. And we are helping people with the loan packages as well now, not just operational stuff.
Very good. Well, thank you, Tom. Thanks so much for taking time. I know you're very busy with lots of these Zoom calls, so we appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you, Bryce. Thanks for having me.
Hopefully these tips have helped. More information is waiting for you. Just look up your local Small Business Development Center. There's 17 of them around Northern California, so just look them up.